David Sutter from Wyopreps.com here, and our fan voted impact for the playoff game of the week was Wheatland hosting Newcastle. Comes up at 7 o'clock on Friday night in Wheatland. I'm pleased to be joined by Bulldogs head coach Tony Borton. And your squad right now sitting at 4-4. You're right there at 4-2 in the conference, Tony. You haven't put up a lot of, I guess, great offensive numbers outside of maybe one kind of big rushing performance. But boy, have you been getting it done on defense. I guess, where do you think your team's at here as you get ready to wrap up the regular season and get into the playoffs?
Well, I think you said it. I think we've played pretty good defense all season. Well, not all season, but most of the season. And we had one kind of, I guess, if you want to call it, breakout game offensively. But we're still waiting. We're still waiting to gel. We've been waiting for that team we think we have. So yeah.
What's gone right specifically on the defensive side that really has kept you in a lot of games, especially here in conference play?
Yeah, it's the front end of the defense. It's our D line is has been very solid, played very well and very aggressively, very downhill. Our linebackers have learned over the course of the season, how to get their run fit going, and that's really where it is at the front of the defense.
Talk a little bit about then, as you have been getting ready for this game. I think a lot of kids probably paying attention to what the playoff scenarios are, where you guys could end up. Do you talk with the team about that, or how do you address that topic specifically?
It's always touchy. You don't want to look ahead too much, but now finally we're here, and so we've talked about it quite a bit this week about we have to do our jobs here and in order to earn a home playoff game, and that's big for us because we've only had 3 home games all year, and so I think the kids are pretty motivated to play hard, and they know what the situation is.
Talk about Newcastle. What do you see out of Coach Conzelman's squad coming into Friday night?
Oh man, I hate it. I hate playing him every year. They're so tough and so well coached, and so the kids have a lot of belief in their scheme, and they run it well, and they get downhill and they'll get after you. And every single year, it's a dogfight. It's just you just kind of sigh when you see that one on the schedule because it's going to be hard. So hats off to Coach Conzelman. He gets them going. So yeah.
So, without giving away the game plan here, what are you stressing, emphasizing in practice to get your guys prepared as best as possible Friday night?
Well, against that single wing scheme, you have to do your job and you have to do it aggressively,
Okay.
and you cannot take a breath. You've got to keep the pedal to the floor the whole time, and so that's one of the things we stress is there's no room for lapses here. Also, against that team, that system, that offensive system, is a little bit like Novocaine. They'll put you to sleep and then they'll sting you, and so you have to keep coming downhill at them and not make mistakes. That's the thing. That's one of the things we've stressed is we've got to be a mistake-free football team this week.
Well, Tony, that's all I got for you. Thank you for taking a few minutes and wish you best of luck at home Friday night against the Dogies.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all you do for the kids.
And we continue the conversation for our Game of the Week feature as it takes us to Class 2A, a big one with a lot of seeding implications as Newcastle goes on the road to face the Wheatland Bulldogs, visiting with Dogies head coach Matt Conzelman. And Matt, good to talk with you. I know the East in 2A is kind of taking some lumps compared to the West Conference and how loaded it is, but you guys find yourself in a great position, sitting at 5-1 in the league and a lot to play for in this game. How do you feel about your team as you're wrapping up the regular season and get ready to go into the postseason?
I talked to him about, we're at a great spot right now. I think every week you're looking to improve. And I think we've done that. So it's been exciting to see. So I'm very pleased about where we're at we've been taking it game by game and stuff. And you're just looking to improve every day and every week. So I think we've done a good job of getting to that point.
A lot of people know about kind of your wing tee. You've got looks like a pretty good punch in the backfield. I know you guys are either up there or leading 2A in rushing right now. What's been the secret to your success on the ground, do you think?
Well, I think you take a look at offenses and you can't not mention the offensive line. And so they've kind of been our foundation. You got 3 seniors on there that are kind of the leaders of that line. And so I think they've done a great job. And then to have weapons behind them of being able to find those holes and explode through them, I think it's been a good recipe for us.
Defensively, you guys have done a really good job as well. What's been the key on that side of the ball?
Well, I think, moving some guys around, and just having them step up and just really focus on that. We constantly talk about like the AAA approach where it's kind of alignment, assignment, and attack a little bit. And I think those guys have really embraced that and really, try to find a relentless defense that's coming after you.
I know that probably guys like Landon Hathaway, Colin McConkey get a lot of the headlines a little bit, but have you been pleasantly surprised by maybe some other guys who have really filled in and played well, no matter what class they are this year?
Especially with Colin, he got hurt early last season, so we didn't get to see him till right at the end. But I knew he was going to be one that would help us out extremely. And then you had another kid, Connor Stolhammer, that got hurt last year, so we just didn't have him last year. And so, them guys coming in the off season and going to team camps and stuff, I knew that one, it was probably the most skilled guys that I've had in the backfield and just on offense in general. And so it was like, I think we're going to have a hard time getting the touches that those guys need. But I mean, they've done a great job of being able to move around a little bit, do some different things. And so I'm pleased how that's progressed.
There's a lot on the line when it comes to possibly a home playoff game for you guys. Have you talked with your team about that? Or I guess what's your approach to, discussing the playoffs or not discussing the scenarios, Matt?
Well, it's like realistically, you want to stay to a one game season, right? Just focus on that. So all of our attention's on Wheatland. But I said, it's kind of up the ante a little bit. It's been since 2014 that we hosted a home playoff game, and that means a lot, that you don't have to put up with that travel and you can sleep in your own bed. And so, man, we would love to get a home playoff game. And so it's like, how bad do you want it, really?
What are your impressions of Coach Borton's bunch down there at Wheatland that you get to see on Friday night?
Well, I was talking with the radio guy from Wheatland today, Kent, and we just kind of talked about, you look at the last 8 to 10 years with Wheatland. I mean, those games have been just physical, close matchups. So I told him, I said, I'm not expecting anything different. You're going to have to come. It's going to be one. It's going to be physical. So you better have your chin strap on, mouth guard in, because it's going to be physical. And then it just comes down to executing and playing our style of football on offense, defense, and special teams.
Speaking of defense, Wheatland's got a good defense. What are you seeing from them on that side of the ball in particular?
Yeah, number one, they're physical and they do a lot of good things. And we just kind of pick our poison a little bit. Like, where do we want to attack? What do we want to attack first? Different things like that. But I think we got a good scheme going into it, and I know the Wheatland coaches, Coach Borton's going to have those guys ready to rock and roll. And so it just comes down to us being able to execute and being ready to go.
Anything else you've been emphasizing with your team this week or stressing in practice?
Well, it's like I keep telling them, I'm like, good teams are going to be peaking, and so we are a good team, and we need to be peaking right now. And so that's the main stress, and then not letting things get under your skin. Nobody out there is going to play a perfect game, and so the most important play is the next play. You just got to bounce back and then do better than on the next one. So I think these guys, they've done a good job of handling adversity. And executing. And I don't want them too high and I don't want them too low, but I just need to be dialed in, ready to go.
Matt, thanks so much for a few minutes. Appreciate it. Best of luck at Wheatland on Friday night.
All right, go fight, win, Dogies.